One of the things that I wanted to cover today was looking at specifically one of the strongest lead generation, we'll call it strategies that I implemented in 2024. By the end of the year, I was looking back at my business and it had done, $12.6 million of volume, mostly passively. So, and I think it's going to be one of the most influential tools going forward for realtors, at least in the interim with AI and all that happening. So really wanted to kind of kick the year off properly. Was supposed to do this a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, got pneumonia, but back on my feet now, and we're going to cover it now. So the whole premise of today is going to be dominating lead generation with long and short form video content. Now, just before I dive in, just let me know in the chat, make sure that you can hear me clearly. 5 being, I'm super clear, loud enough, 1 being you can barely hear me. Just let me know real quick in the chat, just so I understand that I can meet exactly what you're looking for. And then as we go here, so one of the biggest questions obviously is why YouTube when compared to, the myriad of other platforms that you could be investing your time and your money in. So again, $12.6 million of volume. It's not much to shake a stick at. I'm happy with it. Generated from mostly passive video activities. So YouTube and long form video content is kind of like digital real estate. Once you buy it with your time or your currency, you have it forever and it will produce good returns. A lot of the focus right now is on high quality evergreen content, and that's going to provide long term visibility. And what evergreen content means is topics or educational points of view or whatever that might be that stand the test of time, right? Something that's going to be valuable for somebody who's reading it today and something that's going to be valuable for someone reading it in 3 or 5 years, right? That's what evergreen means. It will forever be, relevant and mostly on topic. The YouTube channel specifically, statistically, has stronger engagement and offers a lot more credibility than other platforms as well, which I think it's why a lot of agents are starting to move towards it because there's huge opportunity here. So when you look at how search engines, so Google, YouTube is one of them, Microsoft, all those areas where people go in and conduct searches for information, there is a prioritization for video right now. Google specifically is incredibly prioritizing video results. It's not uncommon to go in and search for something, and videos are at the very top of that platform. Now, YouTube within itself, because it's owned by Google for now, and there is some monopoly being assessed by the Department of Justice in the States, YouTube videos do dominate those results. The other thing that's great about YouTube is that not just the video, but the transcription of that video and the captions that you put in that video are indexed. Now, if you're wondering what indexed means, that essentially means that, if you look up certain keywords, you're going to be able to find them online, even though they may not be directly in, a blog form or whatever that might be when we traditionally looked up, top 5 real estate agents in, Montreal, and all of a sudden Yelp was the best one. Those days are sort of gone, for lack of better words. And I think that there's going to be a huge push towards lead generation through long-term video on YouTube. YouTube itself is actually a search engine, and it's an AI-driven search engine. So what that means is it filters through a ton of data. It looks at watch time, it looks at the comment and like engagement, and it also looks at keyword relevance. So if I say, best time to sell my house in Montreal, let's say, Meraldo, that you went and you did a video 2 weeks ago about the best time to sell my home in Montreal. And people have been watching it and asking questions and engaging with the content that you've provided. Google will likely put that to the top of my search results. So in a perfect world, I look up when's the best time to sell. I see Meraldo talking all about, here's the best time to sell in Montreal. Here's some top tips. Here's some, why you want to stage and all this fun stuff. I'm probably going to come and do business with you because you provided me substantial and quality information. Okay. The other interesting part about YouTube is that you can capture what's called subscribers. Those are people who have consumed some of your content, enjoyed it enough to follow you. And what YouTube and Google will do is continually push notifications based on your search criteria, even when you're off the platform. And that's all done by cookies. So if you've ever logged into a website and it says, here's our cookie policy, do you accept? And you click accept, that data is fed back through Google or YouTube's AI system. And then they put you in front of more content that is relevant to that. Excuse me. And lastly, if you had heard me speak about this, I believe in December, AI is bringing a tremendous amount of changes to how we are all going to be doing business over the next little while. More specifically, Google has a search generative experience. So what this means is that Google has, I believe it's called Gemini, and they're essentially combing through all sorts of data and kind of making the Truman Show out of it. They're putting specific marketing or advertising messages that are highly relevant to how you are searching and what you're searching for and what you're talking about. I don't know if you've ever, had a conversation with friends and you're like, oh, that Tesla Cybertruck is really interesting. Then all of a sudden, there's a whole bunch of ads about Cybertrucks, right? It's also a multimodal search engine. And what that means is that when you have content descriptions like are under YouTube videos, you have the text component, but now you also have a video component. So if I go on to, you know, for ease of, reference, Chat GPT and say, who is the top agent in Montreal? Meraldo, if you've been putting out great content, if you've been putting out information that Google deems valuable, you're going to be put in those situations, right? They're going to look through your reviews, you're going to do everything. And being at the top of any kind of search function when it comes to um, oh, now I'm blanking. Sorry about that. AI, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to get a ton of great business from it because AI is going to take away the key highlights, feed it into their brain. They're going to get the chemical reaction from getting that information right away, and you're going to be the go-to person in Montreal. So, again, looking at what it means specifically for agents, here's my thoughts, right? And I could be wrong on this. I did my predictions for 2024 in January last year, and I was about 75% accurate. So maybe we fall in the 25. But here's my predictions going forward for at least 2025 and into 2026. Videos are going to be incredibly essential for SEO. I believe that the days of writing a blog are mostly done. We need to get video content going. Transcripts, captions are going to be crucial. That is going to replace the text-based component of the blogs. Okay. We have our long form video. And then what we need to do is cut it up into short videos that you could post on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, if that's your thing. A lot of having these initial short-term videos is driving initial discovery, right? You see something on any of those platforms, like a reel, let's say, and it's 30 seconds and the person says something valuable and you're intrigued. So then you go and you find those long form videos where that person begins to build authority in your mind. Okay. We spoke about this on the last slide. AI is going to greatly shape how video is found. So typically, Instagram Explore or TikTok or whatever these platforms are using, there's a continued push to using AI in those exploration indexes that are going to make a very, very big difference. So you want to make sure that your chapters are structured. Like if your video talks about 10 different things, make sure that those 10 different things are outlined. You know, the introduction is at 1 minute. This topic is at 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Next topic, 5 minutes, or whatever that might be. And then get your descriptions in really, get them in line so that people are finding you online. And so I'm sure you probably knew that. Most of the people that I've coached when I'm going through this, they're like, yeah, of course, I know that. I should be on YouTube. And these are generally the three reasons why people aren't doing it. First one, fear of being on camera, right? It's a totally natural response. You're filming yourself, your voice, everything that you subconsciously kind of have an aversion to, and then you're actually putting it out into the internet with like potentially millions of people looking at that. Okay, so I get that. There's the perceived high costs of production. This is another thing. People think they need the absolute top of the line gear. We'll talk a little bit about that. I've gotten by with a microphone, a little tripod that you see here, and to my right here is a small light, all in, a couple $100 tops. It's very easy to do, especially if you have an iPhone and a Mac, because you can actually integrate the two so that you can record exactly on your phone. The last part is the overwhelm with content strategy. So let's go into each of these and just kind of solve them because it's a pretty simple solve. But I do want to introduce my favorite book. Right now, I'm reading a book called Stop Doing That Shit, and it's by Gary John Bishop. Great book. And it's essentially saying every barrier or every objection or every excuse that you make, you have the opportunity to just not do that, right? So you have a fear of being on camera? Stop doing that shit and practice with short, casual videos and improve over time. You say you have a perceived high cost for production and you need all the best gear? Stop doing that shit. Start with your smartphone, some good lighting, a basic microphone. You have overwhelm with SEO and content strategy? Well, that's just an excuse. You know what I'm going to say. Use AI tools to generate keywords, titles, video scripts. I'm going to go once further, and at the end of this presentation, I'm actually going to send you a 52-week content strategy. You're going to get the titles. You're going to be able to go to ChatGPT, throw that in, away you go. So my goal is to remove all of the excuses that people are going to create. Stop doing that shit so you can start getting onto YouTube and making sure that you're going to be a very productive agent in 2025 and even beyond that.
Gary John,
Gary John Bishop.
Gary John Bishop.
Yeah.
Just,
And if you have a chance to get it on Audible, I highly recommend it because he does it himself and he's just like an angry Scottish person. It's a
oh,
it's a
okay.
it's a hilarious, it's a great book.
All right, thanks.
All right. So making life easy, one of the single best filming and editing resources is called Riverside FM. It's a recording studio, a video enhancing tool. It does captions and chapters, AI, like it does everything for you. I believe it might be like a couple $100 a year. Highly worth it. And this is going to go back out. So if you don't scan the QR code, you can get that at another time. It is single-handedly the easiest platform to make video content on. It even cuts your long form video down into short form videos so you can go and post them. Puts the captions on just like all the fancy apps. It's a really great tool. So this is what I've used. I think it's an important kind of foundation to what we need to be doing. Okay. Now let's get into some best practices. Now, I want to come back to the rule of thirds in a second, but let's talk about lighting. As you can see, there's a light source kind of coming at my head this way, right? I want to avoid overhead light, especially being bald. For me, if I have overhead lighting, it creates chrome dome and it looks like the sun's coming up over me. I want natural lighting coming in at a 45-degree angle, generally to light up one side of my face and allow the wall to light up the other side of my face. Audio, a lot of people will use a lapel mic, especially if they're walking around or doing videos. If you're sitting at a desk, you can use a directional mic. The one I had, not super expensive, but it has a background noise remover, and you can hear that my voice comes through mostly clear most of the time. Regarding stabilization, this is what I use to create all of my stuff. It's a very, very simple tripod. My phone goes onto here. That's it. It's rather than holding my phone and shaky hands and all that stuff. Now, I want to come back to the rule of thirds. And none of this stuff is stuff that I've inherently known. It's all research that I've done and I've learned from other people. It's just a consolidation of best practices. I'm not a videographer by any stretch of the imagination. My first videos were horrible. My most recent ones are really, a little bit better, but they're not amazing. The rule of thirds helps to really bring about some kind of video dynamicness to keep people engaged. Now, rather than explaining what it is, I want to show pictures of it. So, this is one of the content creators that I learned a lot about from. You can see that his grid lines in the background frame out certain aspects of the backdrop, right? So you see his body occupies one third of the frame. He's directly in the middle. He doesn't go out on either side. In each of the bottom corners, he has some kind of feature. In the top left, he has a lamp which is shining light into the middle left, and the dark um, top right is left that way for a reason. When you're watching some of these videos, if they've done this properly, they take a otherwise boring and mundane version of a basic background and they make it slightly more engaging so that you're able to watch the video a bit longer. Another example you see is this is the Camtasia kind of support rep guy. And you see that there's some silvers that are tucked away in this bottom right. You see his body occupying the third in the middle, and then you see the plants, the microphone stand, and even the cup is placed in a way that visually works well with the eyes. Okay, you see your lighting on the right-hand side and then across the back. This is what we mean. So if you even look at my camera right now, I think on this side, I have a little bit of the back bureau drawer. I usually have a fake plant and a picture on this side, and my light source is generally more straight on than it is when I'm doing these presentations because my phone is here. So it's if you need to learn a little bit more about that, you hop onto YouTube and you go, how to implement the rule of thirds. And there's so many videos about it. You don't need to hear me drone on about it. These guys are way more specialized in their approach to how they're doing it. Just like, hopefully they wouldn't be giving real estate content. They're going to leave that up to us. Okay. Now, what should I talk about? Now, I want to drop a little bit of Oprah in here. And Oprah says, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I want to kind of micify that a bit and change it to it's not what you say, it's when you say it. Let's dive into that a little bit more. Okay. There's going to be three elements of our marketing approach. Top of funnel is the content that is, realistically content just meant to appeal to a very broad range of potential customers. Okay. These are people who are just interested in Montreal real estate or Ottawa real estate or whatever city you're in. And the goal is to draw people into your brand. You're not selling them anything. You're not trying to convert them into a client, a prospect, or whatever that might be. You're literally just introducing people to Meraldo as an agent in Montreal, or they're just coming in to learn a little bit more about Mike and what he has to say. Where I think a lot of agents go wrong is they stay top of funnel when it comes to their content. It's important to think about how you're moving people towards eventually doing business with you. And that comes in the middle of funnel. So this is the content that's meant to appeal to specific demographics, right? So when you think about it, Meraldo, I don't know if you deal with luxury, upsizers, downsizers, first-time home buyers. That's where you kind of get a little bit more niche, right? I like to focus a lot on multifamily investors and kind of luxury properties. So for me, it would be, luxury homes in Ottawa or investing in real estate in Ottawa or whatever that might be. For you, that could look different. And finding your message is going to be really key in helping more of these specific people come and do business with you. Okay.
I do a lot of first-time home buyers.
Amazing. There's so much information. And like I'm sure you realize day to day,
Yeah.
you probably get a lot of the same questions, right?
Yeah.
So Imagine you're in a situation where someone says, hey, can you tell me a little bit about how much I need down as a first-time home buyer? You could absolutely go, hey, yeah, this is, you need your 5% down and this is what CMHC is and all that fun stuff. Or you could say, that's a great question. I've actually made a video all about this so that you can educate yourself on it. Send them the video and then follow up on that video, right? So you've taken an opportunity where you can answer the question and you'd probably do so accurately and in a good way. Or you can answer their question and provide a video so they're getting more FaceTime with you. And then you have another touch point to follow up and say, hey, what did you think about that video? Is there anything that, is still unclear? And then they're going to give you some more ideas on other videos that you can make to make that process even more simple. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And on top of that, maybe while they're on your channel, they subscribe and start to see your other video content, right?
Yeah.
So that's where you're like maximizing your exposure. And you might even be in a situation, I've seen this done with it. There was a couple in Brampton that I was kind of working with on this. They realized that they had enough videos that they just created a first time home buyers course. And that became a whole new lead magnet for them that they could then advertise.
Yeah.
So when people are in Brampton and they're looking up first time home buyer questions, guess who's popping up a lot on the search engines?
This agent,
It's
I
them.
guess. Hmm.
Yeah. So that's a really cool niche to be in. They're wonderful people to work with. Like I don't know if there's a much better feeling than helping someone buy their first home and like getting the emotional rush that they share with you because it's a huge, huge step for a lot of people. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
be in a situation where, throw yourself in front of that camera, talk about what it's like to be a first-time home buyer in Montreal. What parts of the city should they avoid? What parts of the city should they, more heavily consider? Where is it more expensive? Where is it less expensive or more affordable? There's a lot of content that you can do around that. And I'll kind of walk you through a lot of the initial steps that we can take on. Now, you have them in, they've learned about you, they've learned about how you can help them and how they are your ideal profile. Now we're looking at, excuse me, bottom of funnel. This is what's going to take somebody on the journey of learning about you, learning about topics, and now doing business with you, right? They have a rough idea of what they want. They just need to find the right person. Now, if you're providing a weekly market update, announcements about interest rate drops, you're providing, real estate news, they're seeing that other people have worked with you. This is where the rubber really hits the ground, right? That's someone who's learned about all the ways that you help first-time home buyers by giving them information. And now let's say, last week the Bank of Canada dropped rates. You did a video about that and they go, oh, okay, now I really need to reach out to Meraldo and see what this means for me, right? This is where clients, start to take some meaningful action. And again, this is often the parts where a lot of agents kind of falter and they don't get that good information out. So top of funnel is general understanding about who you are. Middle of funnel, how are you helping them? Bottom of funnel, let's party, let's get some documents signed, let's go check out houses. That's the journey that you're going to take them on through your video channel. Okay. Now, 2025, we're a month in. And again, I was hoping to do this presentation at the start of the year, but got quite sick. This is what I think the 2025 plan is. Partner up with an agent that you look up to and trust that you're going to stay on their path of success, right? If video content is something that you want to do, look to an agent that's doing good video content, hold each other accountable. If at the end of this you're like, hey, Mike, great presentation. I don't think this is for me, all good. Partner up with somebody that is doing what you want to be doing and has a business that you want to have and help each other stay accountable, right? Ask a lot of questions. When you start, and this is true of anything, there's always going to be unknowns, right? Be sure to make a list of those questions and try to educate yourself or reach out for help when you need it. Okay. I always like to add in abundance, right? You and me, we're in different cities. We could probably follow each other and not step on each other's toes, right? Now, if I subscribe, and I have subscribed to other agents in Ottawa who are doing really good video content, and they're great agents, right? I hope that by now, depending on how long you've been in the business, you know that, this business is not adversarial. It's collaborative. It requires agents to come together to negotiate well for each of their parties in a way that succeeds and gets everybody their goal. So don't be shy. Spread the love, subscribe to other agents who are doing good work in your city, and use those as good introductory tools, right? It's a lot easier to reach out to someone when they're on the other side of the table and be like, hey, we did these couple of deals together last year, really smooth process, sure that our clients can
Yeah.
win,
Yeah,
right?
I agree. I agree.
Right. And a lot of people don't. So you just don't deal with those people. You deal with people who are like you, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to give you, at the end of this, if you think this is a great idea, I'm going to give you a 52-week plan for 2025. Bearing in mind, we're 4 weeks in, so there's going to be a bit of a crunch at the start. Those are the actionable steps that you're going to be taking over the next, you know, well, how many weeks? 48 weeks,
48
right?
weeks. Yeah.
48 weeks, man. And then it's December, and then we're going to be doing this again next January. Hopefully, I don't get COVID and pneumonia then. So
Yeah.
what are those steps? Do you have a light? Do you have a microphone? Do you have a gimbal? No?
I have
Great.
them all.
Well,
I
there
have
you
them
go.
all. I already get them. So, like you, I
Boom,
just
boom,
have
boom.
get this one. I have this on my iPhone here, and I have two lights, and I'm good to go.
All right. Then all we need to do now is arm you with the next steps. So I'll show you what you're going to get at the end of this. Look, here's the content funnel. Here's the top of funnel, and this is the content, as I promised, that's meant to appeal to a broader range of people. There's 23 videos that you can choose from. Middle of funnel, here's another 25 that you can choose from. Bottom of funnel, we talked about these. These are just the
Okay,
regular
updates. Interesting.
updates. And I made it even more simple, so you don't even have to choose. January, February, March, all the way to December. Boom. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Okay. I'm going to send
Yeah,
this
yeah,
document
good.
out so that everyone has this. And going back to our good friend Gary Bishop, there's no more excuses, man. We just got to stop making excuses and get this shit done.
Update this. Yeah,
And I promise you, at the end of the year, if you do this at a cadence of only one video a week, your business will be greatly different. And that's my promise to you. And I hope that
I
it was
believe
something
so.
that I hope it's something that we can sit there and go, okay, this is where we're at. Now what's next? Right?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I remember last year you showed me. I mean, you're the one who showed me. I mean, show us like content, um, Instagram, Facebook, and I follow the step, and I get up. I get like I did pretty okay. Like about and now I think I'm getting better. Get myself in front of the camera.
Yep.
So it should this year when I like you said I see like YouTube video it's taking like the real estate some places that we never said that before, and
Yep.
now I'm saying I get to get myself on this thing because I have I already have like a YouTube channel, but
Yep.
it's just like I I didn't know exactly like what to put on it and how to get followers, but I think I'm
So
gonna
I want to just
put some
interrupt you
time on
really
it.
briefly there. This is something that I think is a very important distinction. My YouTube channel has 94 subscribers. That's it.
Hmm.
Followers are the least important metric that people should care about. That being,
Mike, can you, sorry to cut you off. Can you share your channel? I want to see you.
sure, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll show you my channel. It is the least impressive thing you could follow. Um,
But you
I
always have interesting things to say, so I know I'll find it valuable.
I'm sure you will. And I'll share my screen just so you guys can see, and I can
Thank
show
you.
you the exact video that brought in everything. So this is my very basic, you guys can see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
I need to do a better job because there's actually a lot that I'm missing out on here, right? A lot of my videos were interviews with business owners. And if I go to all of my videos, I can show you the exact one that brought in most of the money. And it was get the perfect new build mortgage, minute 47 talking about it. And again, look, there's only 10 views. I had one person come through on that. Buying a new home in Ontario, I talked about the Tarion new home warranty, 223. And then this one was the other one, how to buy your first rental property in 2023. Those videos were $12.6 million worth of volume.
Wow.
And this is why I'm saying like I'm not a believer that, you really need to do all that much. I have 94 subscribers, right? If I had kept consistent, I would probably have a lot more and I probably would have done more business, but I'm not perfect and I would never claim to be. I think that, I have even slept on how valuable YouTube is as a platform. Like my profile picture is still not even all that professional, right? I have professional photos that I should be implementing. Okay.
Question for you, Mike.
Yeah,
And sorry, you might have covered this in the beginning. I joined it a little bit late.
it's all good.
Um, do you have like an opt-in form? Like, how do you capture the lead?
I don't have an opt-in form and I should.
Okay.
And so that's one of those things that, over the last few weeks, I was really, I wasn't in the office because I was wicked sick.
Yeah.
But it gave me a lot of time to come back to basics and understand that, there are some really great lead gen opportunities that I am missing out on. And YouTube is one of them. So, this week I've spent more time planning my channel. Happy to provide updates as we go on what I'm doing and how you can create opt-in forms and all that fun stuff. But those videos were people that thankfully I relied on them to go to Google and go Mike Ouellette, and they found me because, thankfully realtor.ca and a couple of listings put me first. I
Yeah.
would say that I got lucky. I was not systematized and still did $12 million.
Okay.
dollars. So, that's
Nice.
the potential of the platform is huge.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, maybe we can keep each other accountable. I tried at one point to start a channel. I have a few videos that I put out, but I
Yeah.
found that it was challenging just to keep consistent, right? Like consistent in posting, especially when you're busy, you're out there meeting people. Um,
Yep.
so same like, well, I didn't see $12 million worth of sales, but,
But you,
but
but there's probably something.
yeah, yeah. Well, I got some stuff from TikTok, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, TikTok is it's a platform that in the back of my mind I know I should be on, but I'm not. And this year I'm gonna double down on YouTube because I think AI has a very strong hold, and I'm not sure what TikTok has in store for Canada, US. Um, but
When Kevin O'Leary buys it, maybe we'll invest time and effort into it.
maybe, but I like it's easier to do it's easier, and this is where my own bias is going to come in. It's almost easier to just do like an interview style thing on, long form landscape video than um, to bust out and plan creative stuff that needs to happen, 3 times a day. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. And it may be wrong. I don't know. I've just decided that my focus for lead gen will come from YouTube.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Yeah, so I'll send over the content plan if that's what you want to do. Happy to partner up and hold some accountability. I'm probably going to be starting next week and just hammering through as much as humanly possible. So we'll see what 2025 has in store for at least Mike and Andrea and Meraldo's video content, and Avine's. I see Avine looming around. And it'll be
Good.
very interesting to see at the end of the year who puts in the work and who gets the benefit and who doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm not gonna take the challenge right now, but I'm gonna stay in the radar.
Let's do it.
Okay. Thank
Awesome.
you, Mike.
Thanks for popping on. We'll see you guys later.
See you later.
Bye.